Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today we have a game courtesy of Lord Caedus in the brand new Tier 10 French battleship, the Republique. And along with his division mate, they're bringing what the French Navy has to offer so far at Tier 10. And the Republique has brought a lot of mixed reviews. There's a lot of people who think it's absolute trash, it's too weak, its armor's garbage, but I don't think it's supposed to have super strong armor. It's not supposed to be the curve first. It's not supposed to be able to just sit and get shot by everything. It brings to the table some great gun range, the second biggest guns at the tier, the Yamato the only one with bigger ones, and the curve first just a little bit smaller, 431 versus 420 if you choose the big guns on the curve first. And, 8 barrels. There's a lot of hate there. I'm not sure I like the 4 forward, 4 aft. Basically ends up being as if you have two two-barreled turrets. The disadvantage being if one of your turrets gets knocked out, half your gun power is instantly gone. The advantage being it's less turrets. There's some minor advantage to that, maybe in fire arcs or something. Obviously, when the ships are designed, people make choices about how they want the ship, and the French Navy has a lot of these quad-barreled turrets, so it was clearly something the French liked. Now on Trap, you'll notice the map has changed a bit, and we're in domination. It's very tier 10, some 9s, 1-8. But the big difference I've found is you don't really go for A or C anymore. A lot of the fight happens around these two openings in B. B is no longer kind of like this death zone where you get trapped in. So Lord Caedus here is going a different direction than most might consider normal. There's always that strong A push. And is just looking for shots at ships, and the Yamato right on the edge of the range, gonna be the first target. Now, with the armor, the Republique's armor shouldn't be that bad, as he gets a citadel with his first shot, and that's where these guns are actually strong, is at range. That plunging fire is just deadly, and if you keep at range, as I was saying, the armor isn't actually bad. If you look at it, the numbers should be good, but I think it's just the shape and design of the armor that makes it a little weaker. And I suspect it has something to do with, if you look at the main citadel protection, it doesn't go very far below the waterline. So I think when plunging fire is coming in, it's actually just getting below that and then almost hitting below the main armor belt into just the citadel torpedo bulkhead instead. It'd be hard to say exactly, but she can definitely get hit hard. That said, she definitely hits hard, and these shells pack a punch. The other thing she's got going for her is some really good speed. Toss the speed boost on there, and you can easily cruise around well above 30 knots. And that is also an advantage. If you're hunting cruisers for say, you're going to be able to chase many of them down, or at least keep them in range a little longer. Now unfortunately the St. Louis is maneuvering. It's going to take a bit of RNG luck for a good hit. Shells go left and right. Unfortunate, but these guns reload really quick, and that's another one of the advantages. The base reload rate of 24 seconds, as you can see in Caedus's case, it's managed to get it down to 20. And that rivals some cruiser, like it's not cruiser speed. Oh, 2 citadels, huge chunk of damage, but his buddy getting the kill, shells landing pretty much at the same time. And the rate of fire just makes this thing a DPM beast. If you're a good shot and can keep yourself from getting targeted too much, you're going to be able to do work. Now when you do get targeted, you pretty much have to go bow in, protect those sides, because yeah, you're going to get punched if you show any of the side. So it limits your guns a little bit, but sailing in the open like this with broadside targets, this ship is going to do damage. And we're 5 minutes in, 60,000 damage. No kills yet, but some good damage. Those ricocheting off the stern of that Missouri. Caedus you know, he's just kiting around. And you can see kind of what's starting to happen on the map. His team have 2 of the caps, and Missouri's contesting it, but it's easy enough to keep a Missouri spotted and keep shooting. The entire enemy team went A, and now they're going to have to try to push into B or C. I suspect some are going to go north, some south, and it's going to divide them. And that division should give some great opportunities to get damage and kills in. And with 26-kilometer range, you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be in range. You can almost reach all the way to A. You can only imagine how overpowered this would be if it had a spotting plane to push that even further. And good hit there, 3,800. Not quite enough to knock the mighty Mo out, but with all the allies firing, I'm not entirely sure Caedus is going to get another volley. You can see he holds his fire, seeing shells in the air, no need to waste it. Sure, the guns reload quick, but 20 seconds is still 20 seconds of wasted reload if someone's already dead. Unfortunately, the Zhao and Caedus, they don't really see each other. They bump into one another, but not gonna matter. There's really nothing over here to shoot him. And this is pretty much an ideal situation for this ship, is just to sail around, long-range gunnery. Now if you get in close, yeah, you're going to be able to do damage. These are big guns. The shells have some punch, but odds are you might go down before you get any good shots in close. Now with an Udaloy contesting B, that proposes a little worse of a problem. In Missouri, everyone could see it. This Udaloy could theoretically go dark. The enemy team's actually got the lead because they're up 1 kill. But there's no real need to worry yet. RNG saying, nope, you don't get to hit this Monty, the shell's dispersing. And that's something I've noticed about the French battleships, is they either hit like a ton of bricks or fail to do anything. It seems one or the other. And when it's good, it's great. When your shells are ricocheting and sliding and overpenning and you're just not able to get good damage on the board, it is frustrating as all hell. 12,000 damage out of that volley with 1 pen, 2 overpens. It kind of speaks to the power these shells have. You notice he hasn't once yet fired HE, because until a battleship pretty much goes bow on, there's no need to. More shells plunging in, not quite as good that time, just a pair of overpens for 2,900. And this game's kind of just continuing to tick on. It's kind of interesting watching some of these games like this, because tactically this is a smartly played game. Unfortunately, smartly played games don't always make the most exciting game, because normally it's when you make a mistake and have someone in super close and you're having to maneuver and dodge all these things that it gets really exciting. But you shouldn't be in that position. You know, ideally battleships are in a position to just be hitting things, getting their big damage in, but not really taking that beating themselves. They've got the armor when they need to and are spotted at range, but this is pretty much textbook how I would expect somebody to play the Republique and have a strong game. Still no kill on the board, but up to just about 100,000. When these shells hit, it should bump him across that threshold. It definitely does with a Citadel and 2 pens. 122 now, and we're still under half of what Caedus is going to do in this game. And ships like that St. Louis sailing perfectly broadside on, which he's been doing most of this game, they'll help. Unfortunately, you gotta hit. And you can see how this opening in the cap has really changed the strategy. Before, where that Yami is, shots where Caedus and his divmate in the Henry are, you wouldn't have much from this location. But with it opened up, you definitely do. Those shells going right where you want them, that second turret on the Yamato, that kind of cheek. No Citadel, but some good damage. And no one's paying attention. Caedus is spotted. Everyone's looking at the group of ships trying to charge in. And it's actually not looking very good at all for Caedus' team. They're down big on the ships. one shell there for a Citadel. Thank God something hit. That would have sucked. 13 kilometers away, a stop ship for shells and RNG to decide, no, you don't get this. And you can see that Iowa just about to go forward. So he puts them right on the bow, hoping that they're going to hit and that Iowa will sail far enough forward because couldn't aim any further aft. And more damage. And that's a lot of what this game is and has been. It's just been consistently putting damage on the board. Unfortunately, no shot over this mountain. He gives it a go. Maybe cleared an opening now that he can shoot through next time. And, well, hello. The St. Louis is back again and sailing side on to one of the bigger threats. And he only just now notices, aims, does not waste his time zeroing in on that range, and these are looking pretty deadly. 2 Citadels, 1 ship gone, first kill, 173,000 damage. And this is where things should start to snowball. The enemy team is ahead in kills, but they're really hurt on hit points. Whereas Caedus, and by extension his Divmite, this pair of French ships, just been doing a solid job kiting. They haven't eaten a lot of damage, and that makes them very strong late game because it's not someone you can just one-shot and remove. And well, speaking of one-shot, that Des Moines side on backing up just ate a big hit. The shells fly true. Could be the second kill he gets this game. They're looking decent. Not quite enough. 8,700 damage. And knocking about half the Des Moines hit points away. And well, torpedo finishes up. That's okay. Another enemy ship done. They're still in this. That Missouri and Baltimore doing a decent job staying behind the island, protecting themselves. This Iowa, it boggles my mind that these ships are just sitting like this. They know they're getting flanked, and yet they're not doing anything to try to prevent some of the fire. And I get that there's a Missouri and a Balti ahead of them, but angle down a tiny bit. Doesn't have to be a lot, because they're pretty much just tunnel visioning. And well, this is what happens when you tunnel vision. 16,000 damage, 1 sit, 1 pen. There goes the Yami, and he picks up his high caliber, 2 kills in. And there's more to kill. We've got a Montana there, 19 kilometers. Once again, wasting no time to get the shells in the air. And by the time they get there, the guns are already half reloaded. These are looking like they could do some damage. Unfortunately, only 3 hit, 1 breaks, I'm guessing on the turret, the other 2 overpen. But guns are reloaded, time for another try. And the rate of fire, you know, I think this is actually going to be a pretty friendly ship to more inexperienced battleship players. 3 Citadels there, just erasing that Montana. And the reason I say it could be friendly is if you're not a great shot at range, the rate of fire here is going to allow you to kind of pick up for that, where it's going to kill people, and why maybe I will ultimately say it's probably a higher skill cap ship is the armor isn't as reliable. You know, you get in a Yamato, point bow in, you're going to tank most of what's shot at you. Same goes for the Kurfürst. Even the Montana now is a lot tankier than it used to be. The Republique definitely on the lower side of the beating it can take. 2 pens there, another good chunk of damage, and we're 3 kills in. With what's left, there's the chance for a Kraken here, especially with that Kaba potentially spotted, but almost stationary Des Moines decides to shoot him instead, eating really his first big damage of the game there from that Alsace, but well worth what he just did to that Des Moines, pretty much making him a non-issue. Meanwhile, Divmate dunking, just quietly sailing around the map, spotting things, shooting them. There goes a destroyer, easy pickup kill there, really bringing the Kraken into range. Just a Des Moines, this Khabarovsk, and an Alsace left. These 2 should have it in the bag. they've got the point lead. The Des Moines just went under. And, well, Kaba and an Alsace, they don't honestly pose that big a threat. And the reason is the Kaba's too close. If that Kaba were right at his gun range, he'd be a pain to hit and he could probably put a lot of damage on the board. But being, you know, inside 10, way too close, it just doesn't pose a huge threat. And, well, Alsace eating some damage there. This one isn't going to go much longer. The Baltimore just kind of sitting in that opening, looking for shots through the hole. Dunking having turned in. Lord Caedus just kiting around the island. He had a big hit from there from the Alsace. I really think he was trying to get behind cover. Unfortunately, he wasn't quite there. The Alsace got its guns loaded and, well, punished him for sitting like that. But, you know, tier 10 versus tier 9, the hit points aren't even close to being equal. At half health, you know, that's equal to the 60% of the Alsace's hit points. But the question is, will he get to shoot, or will his teammate finish him off before he gets the shots? You can see he's looking. Wouldn't surprise me if he was even asking in whatever comms they're using, you know, can I have this kill? I've almost got the Kraken. And, well, it looks like Dunking stopped firing. So, the good hit, that could have been Kraken. Unfortunately, most of the shells going into the island, and it looks like Dunking has decided, nope, I'm shooting now. I gave you your chance. Didn't work. My turn. Unfortunately, the Alsace gets bow in. All those AP shells ricochet, as do Caedus's. And it's ultimately the fire that finishes him off, gets the Kraken, and the Kaba at this point, it can try to win by points, but with how far he's behind, there's no way the Kaba's getting all the way around the map. There's a radar cruiser involved, and you've got a Henry. The Henry can chase down everything. So this one is in the bag. Let's jump to those post-battle screens. Now, I do wish I'd been sent the full screens, because I would have loved to have seen the experience numbers on this one. 299,000 damage, 5 kills, 13 citadels. Kraken, High Caliber, Confederate, and Dev Strike. And ultimately, I think this kind of just continues to prove a theme that, in my mind, there's really no bad ships in this game. Like, there's ones that are maybe not as advantageous to sail, but it really matters who is in that captain's chair. If you're strong in the ship you're sailing, it is a good ship. And I carried that all the way back when people said you can't bring the Pensacola to ranked, and people did and had a lot of success in it, because personally to them it was a very strong ship. And I think that's where the Republique is going to fall. If you're good in it and keep yourself safe and are a good shot, it's going to be incredibly strong. If you're overzealous and get caught out, you're going to die really quickly. And that's really the make or break. And I think that's why there's people who don't like this, is a lot of the other tier 10 battleships can be pretty tanky as long as you don't show broadside. The Republique, not as much, but its gun range and the sheer damage it can do make up for that if you keep yourself safe. Anyways, thank you, Lord Caedus, for sending this in. I enjoyed watching it. It definitely puts the fire back in my boots to finish off this line, give the ship a try myself. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. As always, I'm Qckslvrslash. I'll have another one for you all later.